secret door.
Yeah, this is when I want to eat a granola bar. I go in there and...
That's where the speakeasy is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. How do you want to do this? Do you want to do it like a long format? Are we doing this short, like a reel, or what's your
This is super casual, long format.
Okay.
Let's just go through your truck.
Chat about it.
Love this build so much.
Thank you.
It's so good looking.
Thank you.
This is something where I didn't grow up around this culture.
Oh, okay.
But I can appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
I like it. I think it's super cool.
It's
So what did this start life as? What is this?
Okay, so it's a 1989 Toyota pickup. Not a Hilux, not a Tacoma. Like everyone keeps coming up to me and they're like, so it's a Toyota what? I'm like, pickup. They're like, a Toyota what? I'm like, pickup. And they're like, yeah, it's a pickup. It's a pickup what? It's a pickup. Toyota decided to be really creative in the 80s and 90s, and that's what the name that they came up with.
They're like,
they're like, we're gonna go all out on
what
this
should
one.
we call it? What is it? You know?
It's a pickup.
Yeah.
Is it a pickup now? It has no bed. We don't really know. So it started life as an 89 Toyota pickup in Canada with me, and I found it on Craigslist as, for lack of a better term, it was like an abandoned mini truck project. The guy that I purchased it from, he got it in 89 off the lot as like a lease trade-in thing. And he drove it until about 92, took it off the road to build it into a mini truck, and it never saw the road again.
Okay, so then...
Fast forward to 2020, I got it.
Falling apart,
yeah,
you saved it.
Yes, it had, he had started a bunch of framework on it, and there was some little things that had been done to the cab and whatnot. So I saw it and I was like, oh, I really like Toyotas, I like pickups, I like mini trucks. Like I had come off of selling 259 Impalas that I was like, you know, I don't think that I'm going to ever build these. Like the budget was just too crazy to build something like that, and I wanted to do something different, and so this thing came into my life. I brought it home, and the original plan was to slap it together and roll it. That was kind of, for lack of a better term, and like maybe thrash on it. And then I pulled the frame off of the body off the frame, and looked at the frame that was under it, and it had like this little teeny notch, like I'm talking like little teeny notch. I was like, this is useless, and threw out the entire old frame. So the frame that's under it now and then proceeded to build a custom one-off chassis for it. So the frame that's under it now, the whole structure is completely custom. The front half of it is built to Toyota spec, but the rear half of it obviously is not so much to Toyota spec.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
I love that you're like, oh, that's a cute notch.
Yeah,
and then this is
just like so aggressive, because the purpose of it is, it's a body dropped truck, so the purpose of it is to sit with its belly on the ground when it lays out. And then obviously when it drives, it can lock up a little bit, but the purpose is to drive it as low as possible. I mean, lift it to get over speed bumps, but other than that.
So then how was the condition of the cab? Was it pretty rusty, or was it pretty clean?
No, which was the wildest thing, because it sat essentially in storage the majority of its life. It was a completely solid cab, like not a single bit of rust on it. And you would think like, oh, a Canadian truck, it's gonna be rusty as all heck, but it wasn't. I mean, there's not much left of the truck that hasn't been customized. So going from that, we still ended up cutting out the entire floor, the firewall. The back wall is custom. So even the back wall, we made it to look factory with these bead rolls, but this is all hand bead rolled, 100% custom back wall. This bead roll up here is factory Toyota, and then continuing on down went custom with it.
This is what's so interesting to me. This is what makes it special. Like this part was never meant to be shown, you know? And you want to make it pretty.
You want to make it pretty, and to me, it was like making it look like, if you didn't know, you would just walk up on it and think it was factory like that. But if you know these trucks, or you know what a truck looks like when you pull the bed off of it, you'd be like, oh no, this is not necessarily something that's factory.
Yeah, but if you didn't say anything, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's just what it looks like.
Yeah. So the floor itself was all bead, like it's a shame it has carpet on it, but it's all bead rolled, and it has a big tunnel because there is a 4L60 transmission in it, which is a little odd for, we'll get to it, but the Toyota engine that's in it.
Yeah, let's take a look at
this. Oh, you want to take a peek?
Original.
So this is the original block to the to the cab. And it is a little bit of a shame because it had so like low of miles on it when I got it. It had under 60,000 original miles. And if you know these motors, that's like breaking them in for a Toyota.
Yeah, this is famously
like the cockroach of the engine world.
Right.
They
you
don't
drop
die.
it in the ocean and it still works.
Still works.
This, that, and other.
Yes. And
Got it.
so took that engine, we powder coated the block. And then because obviously it gets hot with powder coat, we then went and took it to Wayne's Engines in Riverside and got it machined. Then went and got forged internals. And then I was like, well, if we're gonna do all forged internals, let's throw a turbo on it.
This is the prettiest turbo
It's
I've
the
ever
little
seen.
baby turbo, Garrett G3660. It's
Like-
just a little baby.
Where did you, like, how did you do the engraving?
Okay, so the engraving is all done by the same guy. The company's called Engrave It. His name is Hernan. And he does it all by hand. He's insane. There's quite a process that goes into it because it has to get polished out first. He then hand engraves it, then it goes for chrome, and then we add the gold touches on top after that. Basically, people have come at me and been like, oh my gosh, does it affect the integrity of the turbo or things like that? But it's totally fine. The material of the turbo itself is so thick and durable and everything that doing cuts like that on it, it's fine. And I'm not trying to do pulls at a drag strip, like, you know, like
Right.
It's gonna be a highway cruiser. Like get in, go to Cars and Coffee, have a good time.
That's the thing with this motor.
Yeah.
When it's stock, I mean, it'll get it going eventually, but
yeah, it's not.
It doesn't
like,
make that much power.
I
This just kind of wakes it up a
I
little bit.
swear it makes like 80 horsepower stock. So we're hoping it'll maybe make 200. Like that's kind of it. Right at this point, we have about 10 minutes of drive time on it. Like we just got it running. And it's been a little bit finicky, so we have some stuff that we need to dial in on it and make it better. I'm not trying to like push it and be a hero and then have a motor that's wrecked because I'm way too poor to replace it. to be completely honest with you.
It just looks so good, though.
Thank you.
Everything was touched.
Yeah,
Everything
so
has been massaged in some way.
the tubs are all hand formed with the bead rolls. The firewall is all done with bead rolling as well in it. Everything's a little bit overbuilt, so we have a Sheepy Race intercooler in here that's made for like $850, even though we're going to get only 200.
That is a huge intercooler.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
For this little teeny truck.
It's so funny
Fitting
how...
it in there, it was like finessing it. It was just crazy. Like we had to actually at one point before the frame went to powder coat, we cut out the front frame rail so that we can put a smaller one that was lower down so that the intercooler could probably fit, and then cut out the core support and whatnot. So.
It's funny to me how small the CSF radiator is compared to the intercooler.
Yes, it's meant for like a Honda or an Integra, like an Integra or something like that. Like it's such a little baby guy in there.
The chrome is so nice. So was this all reused?
So no, this is so Toyota actually repops grills and the bumpers for these. Like you can get them online, surprisingly enough, and they're not as expensive as you think. So the front bumper is brand new, the grill is brand new, but this is a Toyota 4Runner front clip. So this is a 92 4Runner front clip, so it has a 4x4 fender, so they're a little bit wider and more aggressive. 4Runner bumper.
How much massaging did you have to do to get this to fit?
Nothing.
Really?
Like it just they line up really well, but it also, that being said, we have, so this is the core support itself is 4Runner, so you have to run a 4Runner core support so that the fenders will work on it, so that the bumper will go on. It is a pickup grill though, and that took a little bit. We have this panel that was all handmade to go across the top here, so that it kind of like helped add structure in so that the grill would sit nicely in there too.
So then this is the truck grill.
Pickup grill, 4Runner bumper, 4Runner bumper, 4Runner corner light. But the 4Runner normally has like a light that comes across here that's like kind of more bubbly, and it kind of is cartoony, whereas I like wanted it to sit in and have like more of an aggressive look.
I mean, this is the look of the truck. This
yeah,
really
it's like
speaks
it
truck.
gives it more of like a meaner look. Like it's not as like a cute look, if that makes sense. What else can I tell you about it?
What's the Tofu?
Okay, so the truck's name's Tofu.
Okay.
This was made billet. This is aluminum, so it's all carved out of aluminum. There's 11 Tofus on the truck. if you can find them. So in the engine bay alone.
That's a fun little Easter egg.
It's a little Easter egg throughout the thing. If you look on the side, my throttle cable, even the bracket for my throttle cable that pulls on it says Tofu.
I see that.
We got a little Tofu up here, if you can see.
That is so, that's so cool.
So just like little details. There's one right up here.
A little block of tofu?
Yeah, a little block of tofu, and then we got one down here as well. Just like little touches throughout the whole truck. That. There's a couple on the back.
Why not have fun with it?
In the dash as well.
You've gone this far.
Yeah.
So tell me about the wheels. These are so cool.
These are Antera Opus 109s, true Antera Opus 109s. So they're a wheel that's made in Italy that was made in the 90s. They are my dream wheel. I love them so much. But they're getting harder and harder to find. So when I did find them, they were a little bit beat up. And my husband actually knows how to straighten and repair and fix wheels. So he straightened them, and then they got sent out to show chrome so that they were chromed throughout the entire barrel. They're a 17 by 8.5 all the way around. And then we did custom center caps that still had the Antera, but then also threw my name on them as well. They were kind of like an ode to the 90s, whereas this truck's era of being built and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about this, and then let's talk about the interior.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's lots going on in the interior, but yeah. So it has a. what do you want to know?
To me, this looks like a spaceship. I don't know what's going on at all, but that's the beauty of it. I think that's super cool. I see there's a little fuel tank there.
Yes, this is my fuel cell.
Yeah.
And so it's a custom one-off made. My husband reworked it and TIG welded did all these beautiful TIG welds on the sides of it to make it perfect. And then it's running a Holley easy level sender and fuel sending unit. So that tucked nicely in there, but we put a bracket on it just because the truck sits so low. It like sits in this cradle because if we were to drop the truck down and it were to sit on a rock or something happen, we don't need a catastrophic problem. This is my hydraulics up here, essentially. So this is a tank right here. It carries all the hydraulic oil. Either side, there's a motor. So depending on which switch you're hitting, the motor will spin. It'll tell which of these dumps on the top that kind of like tell which valve to open or close, to which line it needs to go to. And then from there, it raises or drops whichever side or piece of the truck.
Got it. So it's one for each corner.
So there's 4 switches, front and back, and then individual rear corners as well. And then these little guys on the top, it helps. They're called slowdowns. They determine how fast or slow the truck's going to drop or raise or whatnot, and like how much fluid can get through. So
this is just so insane, like the geometry and all this stuff that you guys had to figure out.
Yeah, this is all out of the brain of Alex at Hoppos. So he wanted to do a cantilever setup, and so it's cantilever hydraulic. So this cylinder that's on the side over here, or that one as well, pushes here. Then this knuckle completely turns, pushes down on this rod here, and then that pushes off the diff. There's a bracket that comes off the diff, and then that's what's going to raise the frame.
Is it a stock Toyota rear end then?
No, so this is a Curry Ford 9-inch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so with like the bigger gearing ratio, so that I'm hoping at one point I'll be able to do a couple burnouts with this thing for fun. Just for fun.
It would look so crazy because it's open wheel.
It would be a little wild, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not having fun with it, what's the point? So, the other thing that people always kind of ask about, because they're very confused about, is so these cylinders, coils, whatever you want to say up here, people are confused because they're hard mounted in here. But they're teed in kind of like another accumulator, or maybe like you could think of it as a reservoir shock to add an extra cush to the ride of the truck. So that's what their purpose is.
Because it's fluid.
Fluid, yeah. So
Understood.
Then essentially, like you'll see them, especially when the truck's on a downward travel, they'll be cycling in and out and whatnot.
So yeah, because the springs aren't dampening the force of the truck pushing on it, but it's dampening the fluid.
Anywhere. Yeah.
It's dampening the fluid. Okay, got it.
So they're just teed in with the rest of the system. We got the GSI Watts link in the back, keep everything centered in the rear.
The battery setup is insane too.
So 2 run the hydraulics, 1 runs the motor and everything else. So, and then everything, all the wiring and everything runs up. So these guys are hollow that come up like that. So we ran all the wiring through these guys up into the cab and everything. So it's all channeled up in there so that you don't get all this wiring everywhere else and it doesn't catch on anything else.
I really do appreciate that this is something I feel like I haven't really seen before in my world, but the fact that the welds, of course, they're super pretty, very uniform, but then it's almost like you have this design
it ties together.
That ties together.
You know what? You're
really
the first
cool.
person that said that, actually, because people look and they're like, wow, engraving, and then they're like, wow, beautiful welds, but like putting them together and how it cohesively works. The chrome shop, before they chrome, they have to polish, right? And they asked, they're like, can we polish out all these welds and just smooth everything off? I was like, don't you dare.
Yeah.
I was like, leave those.
That's become a part of the design.
Yeah,
of
it's become
this
part of the
frame.
design. I really like that industrial look with it, and like people to be able to see what kind of work went into it, because this knuckle itself, so Alex from Hoppos, he created it. He went onto the laser, cut off millions of different tabs, and then this was a bar that went through, and then it was just a matter of figuring out how they were going to work together and tacking it together. And okay, is it going to cycle? No, those tabs don't work. Okay, throw those away. Let's try a different way, like way or length or whatever, to make it so that it would properly function.
This is what really impresses me, though. Whether it be a straight weld or around this curve, or even just like here, it's amazing to me to make it not only function, but for it to be matching and uniform is just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's super cool. I love the craftsmanship behind it.
I tell everybody, I'm like, oh, if you see a bad weld on this truck, it's from me. If you see any of the other ones, they're Alex from Hoppos, or my husband did some of them. And yeah, I was like, the rest of them that are crappy were like, that was me trying to do my best at being a hero, you know?
Let's talk about the interior.
Okay.
I love how you just casually mic drop. Got a Impala dash.
Okay, so it's a 1959 Impala dash, and it's been sectioned and shortened and the whole works. So normally they have right here, like in the center, there's a radio that goes there. So we took out about 7 inches of the middle to bring it together, and then on either side as well, a bunch got taken off either side. But then, not only that, to make it fit properly into this teeny little Toyota cab, you have to take a whole bunch off the front of it as well, so it sucks in, because or else it's gonna sit way too far out. So it was a matter of getting it fitting right and where it needed to go and all that kind of stuff, and looking correct for the truck and not too big in here.
I love the Toyota badge
Yes,
here.
so this is a billet Toyota badge, kind of like the one that's on my on the front grille. So this normally it says Chevrolet in it, and then Evod Industries, he did like the wheels on the Riddler car and stuff like that. He went and he billet machined this out of solid aluminum and put the Toyota in there instead.
So
and then we
cool.
chromed it and did the gold instead. The gauges got color matched to the truck. They say Tofu in them as well. What else could I tell you about it?
The seats are nice too.
So this is an NOS 59 Impala material. So I sourced it out of Oregon, and then I went to my upholsterer that I had in Canada, actually in like 2021. This seat was done in 2021. And we picked the colors, and I was like, can you make this seat look like a 59 Impala seat? And then this is the rear speaker grille that would normally be in a 59 Impala as well. So the same car that this dash came out of, this speaker grille came out of as well.
I just love the colliding of worlds.
Yeah.
I think that is really neat.
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
door panel, so nice, so finished.
Thank you.
So then
There's so many things I
this
still
wasn't
wanna
like
do.
a SEMA crunch 3-month build. This was
It's been an ongoing thing for a really long time. However, to get it here, there was definitely a crunch at the end. Like the truck itself got painted about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. So getting things to get finessed and back together, and then where it needed to be, and
so like the dash and everything was painted too?
yeah,
that
the
quick?
entire thing got painted.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it went to paint at the very end of September, and then it finished in paint probably October. We were driving back to, because it was in Central California, and then we drove back, because wherever the truck went, I went with it. That's who I am as a person. I'm like staying with my build throughout the whole thing.
Is this correct where it says?
It has no miles on it right now.
A tenth of a mile on it?
Basically, yeah, because literally the truck came back from
cool.
paint, and then from there it was a matter of like getting the engine going and situated and all the parts running correctly. And so there's a lot of stuff I want to dial in on it, a lot of things that I want to finesse on it and make better and whatnot. Just get it running like as best as it possibly can and make it even better. That's the plan, at least. This is just the beginning for it.
Already though. I
Thank
cannot
you.
believe
Thank you.
this is such an interesting build.
Thank you.
It's really cool. Real quick, one last thing. So the color, what is the color?
Okay. It's from a 2013 Chevy Spark. So you know like those little commuter cars?
No way.
Yes, so 2013 Chevy Spark. 9 years ago I was driving and I saw one coming down the road and I was like, that's the color, I'm gonna make something one day. And here it is. Yeah, it's been in my head for so long and I was like, I needed it to be this color.
I don't think I've ever seen.
It's really rare to see one, which is the funniest thing. So when I was going to go up to the paint shop with it, truck and trailer, got this thing, and I pulled out of the gas station and there one was in front of me with the color on it, and I was like, it's a sign. But yeah, it's a rare day. Every time I would see one on the road, I'd be like, oh, it's like a little sign to keep going, and it seems so stupid, but
that is
of all colors, it's the strangest, and it works so well. I think it's because outside it can look gray, and then inside it looks pink, or sometimes it looks champagne or whatnot. So I think a lot of people will see it in the color book, and they flip right by it. They don't really pay it too much mind, but once it really is on something, it's a whole different thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, anytime.
Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you even wanting to check it out. It's really rad. Like, I love it so much, and we've put so much into it, and it's special to me. So when other people come by and they want to give it some love, it just means a lot. So it's super cool.
It really kind of comes down to the simple fact that it's the craftsmanship, the idea, the story, how much went into really getting it here. It's just super cool. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Love these trucks in stock form, but in this form, it's even better.
Thank you. Thank you
cool.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have been appreciating this SEMA coverage. In the past couple of videos, I've been asking you guys to subscribe if you like what we're doing. If you don't like what we're doing, then don't subscribe. But we really appreciate the support. We really want to just tell all these car culture stories. So thank you again, and see you guys in the next video.